One clan, companions only, bandits only, worst start. All challenges meant for the most experienced, battle-hardened, and cunning Bannerlord players. I am not one of them. I'm just like you, perfectly relatable and completely average in every way. But for some reason, by the power of the gods and mods, I've been blessed with the powers that make me destined to rule over this world. After getting hit by a truck, we find ourselves reborn as Pagert of Lishtub. I don't know what they stand for, must be from some ancient culture I don't know about. These are our focus points, because we want to swing a big axe, have a big throw, and capture many foes. Oh my god, that was so fucking cringe. Also smithing, for some soon to be very obvious reasons. We spawned in Botania. The start is probably going to be the hardest part because I have a mod here that makes looters and bandit parties a lot larger. After dodging a few bandit parties and trading what little we have to the surrounding towns, I headed to Seanon. This is where the real gameplay begins. And here is where we discover our first power. Unlimited smithing. With this ability, I should blast through to level 200 in no time. So I pretty much just sit here and smith for like 30 minutes. The thing about smithing in early game is there's actually not much weapons in the shop to smelt. At least none of the good ones, like the Tribal Dagger or the Pugio. But with the unlimited smithing, we can refine indefinitely, giving us a head start in breaking the economy. First, I craft blunt spears, very cost effective, until I unlock these spears. They only cost 1 steel and 1 wood to make, and they sell for a whopping $12,000 or $18,000 if you have this perk, which I do now. So I created a stockpile of them, which will act as our bank account. And with my smithing at a good level, I decide to finally make my own weapon, creating the strongest axe I can make and the weapon I'll be wielding for the rest of the game. Max Axe. Creative name, I know. After gathering some men and a few horses, I set out to sell my affordable and totally not a scam spears. After making about 100k, I buy myself some good armor, ditch my men, and zip around through the map and find myself in my first battle. It was a 26 versus 1, but with my armor and my weapons, I thought it should be pretty easy. Oh my god, this fucking horse is so slow. But then I realized my two-handed proficiency was a measly 30, and my swings were extremely slow. I was getting pelted with rocks, but I wasn't dying. This was where I discovered my second ability. Lifesteal. So as long as I keep attacking, I should be invincible, and with this absolutely broken ability, I make quick work of these looters. And in theory, with this ability and enough patience, I should be able to fight like 1,000 looters, so this should make farming renown an absolute breeze. After switching out my horse for a faster one, I continue to run down groups of renown, looters. But the gods must not like this very much because for some reason, I got sucked into a black hole. What the... After creating an identical universe, I continue my adventure, but I noticed, as an isekai protagonist, something was missing. I didn't have an anime waifu of questionable age falling in love with my mediocre self. So, revealing my smartphone, I contact Abigail via Skype. Upon trying to raise her up, she was playing hard to get. Ooh, my favorite, a tsundere type. So our goal was clear. We must reach clan tier 1 to win her hand. Farming renown is similar to any other playthrough. I just join tournaments, kill a few dozen bandits, and sell my spears. Just standard Bannerlord stuff. Like I said, I'm kind of not the best at this game. I'm actually really bad in combat on foot. So in the Empire lands, I found this trick of getting them into a corner where they can't swing. Then once they're in that position, I just start swinging. That's how I won most of my tournaments. So I continue this loop of just fighting tournaments, selling spears, killing bandits. And after reaching clan tier 1, I call Abigail once again. And with the power of Riz and money, we got married. And for our honeymoon, we continued this loop of fighting tournaments, selling spears, and killing bandits. After reaching clan tier 2, it was about time we utilized my true powers. After gathering up a bunch of highborn youth and leveling them up into Fiend champions, I revealed my third power. Alright! I can turn these mindless NPCs into fully functioning and overpowered companions. And as it turns out, I have a mod that allows me to have up to 500 of them. And so for the next hour, I farmed till my hands had carpal tunnel, but more importantly, till I had 50 companions. To make some extra money, I also made 5 of them into traders. Here is where I realized I can also make 500 parties. So my next goal was clear. We would run these lands by letting our companions lead a party of their own. But before this, I knew I would need some funds for this expensive endeavor. At this point, we already sold about 2 million dinars worth of spears, so I thought a good benchmark to hit would be about 10 million. After reaching about 5 million, I was kind of bored, so I just kind of settled on that. Plus, we still got some spears to sell, so we'll just do that on the way while we drop off our men. And so our next step of the plan was in motion. I'll drop off 8 of my companions in each region until we reach 50 parties.
Parties dropped off at Raven. There's 8 parties dropped off here. Parties dropped off in Mystica. 6 parties dropped off in Portengard. 6 parties dropped off near Sudhir. She's just the way I want it to be, a million times hotter than TNT.
There you go. We just dropped the last batch off. After dropping them off, I'll just wait a little bit, let them gather their men, and fill up our numbers. And after going like this for a while, it was clear that it was not sustainable. Even with me constantly selling spears, our caravans were not making money. They were constantly being destroyed. We were absolutely draining our bank account. Hoping to at least slow down the rate of which we become homeless, I joined Britannia as a mercenary. And just like any other anime, something very convenient that solves all our problems just happened. We were back to making money. Not just that, making more money than I have ever dreamed of. Since all our companions were out doing something, our influence was blowing up to ridiculous numbers.
Fuck, that was a quick chase.
At one point, we had over 60 times the ruling class's influence, and 8 times more the second highest. We were easily making over 100,000 dinars and rising. I thought this was it. This was the good life. I could chill, level up, and keep on making bank. Until suddenly, my earnings crashed. I couldn't understand. My influence was higher than ever. Why wasn't I making money? Worst, why was I losing money? Then I realized Caladog had ran out of money. He spent so much on us that despite being the ruling clan, they were the lowest influence, they had no money, and the weakest army. I felt kinda bad. Sure, I may have taken a pay cut, but Caladog is trying his best. He's still giving what he can, and he's sold pretty much everything to try and pay us. I was moved. So moved, in fact, that I left his broke ass and Britannia to join another clan.
You fat, you stink, and you ugly, and you broke, monkey!
Upon joining the Western Empire, I quickly gathered a mountain of influence, making over 200k a day. This went on for a while. Went on for so long, actually, that I think I wasn't draining his pockets fast enough. So I decided to make another set of 50 parties, just because he could afford it. During this time, I saw that my previous employer was going through some tough times. This was the true cost of my service. I'm like some super fucking steroid. Hire me and increase your strength by 4-fold. Become the strongest nation in all of Calradia. Over 14,000 men at your disposal. At the small price of everything you got. So enjoy this while you can. Emperor Gyarios. Oh, time's up. Thanks for the 10 mil. Now, to look for my next customer. Set my eyes on Sturgia because they were close by and they were at war. Yes, yes, rise, rise! What? What the heck? Oh, they were already poor. So instead, I went to Mommy Regia. So after I've drained her of all her funds, I tried to look for my next employer, but no one was going to war, and everyone who was at war was already poor. At this point, my single clan was as powerful as all the factions combined. My money was depleting faster than ever, so I thought it was about time I established my own kingdom. The timing was perfect. All the major powers were left poor and weak, and my men were still at full strength. So I headed to the town of Seanon, which was in rebellion, in order to conquer it. My kingdom would start here, where it all began. After capturing it, I would dub my kingdom the most fitting and noble name, AIDS. Because much like the Magic Johnson disease, we would weaken and destroy Calradia from the inside.
Ow! You're hurting me!
We would start with Britannia. As soon as our kingdom was established, I created an army, taking over their lands and castles one by one, blessing them with the gift of AIDS. It went smoothly for the most part.
Whoa. I think I got fucking hit by a fucking boulder. What the fuck?
I would continue to press forth into the lands of Britannia, but leading such a large army had a cost. Food. Our men were going through several truckloads of food every day, and it would be a race against their stomachs to conquer Britannia. Captured their second to last castle just before we started to starve, and we left them all in one castle, with their kingdom strength being less than 200.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
To my horror, we were still absolutely running through our money, losing over 150,000 dinars per day. Peace was not an option we could afford, so I moved in quickly to attack Valandia. Fuck you, Durther.
We're losing way too much fucking money. And I still got a bunch of units just running around doing nothing.
To solve all my problems, my plan was just to throw all my men into their walls until the enemies were so disgusted by my lack of care for human life, they just gave up. This would serve three purposes. 1. Reduce our numbers, therefore reducing the amount of daily wage I had to pay. 2. Capture Valandian cities. And 3. Save me some time fighting in sieges. Things were going smoothly until for some reason, some of our party leaders were dying off. And quick.
Holy fuck, why is so many people dying?
I didn't know what caused this, but we were still on the red, so at this point I didn't mind. Just kept happening after like every battle until it stopped at around about 50 parties.
Okay, we didn't lose anyone.
So I think we're just gonna keep the number of parties around that area. After capturing most of Valandia and leaving them all in one castle, similarly to Britannia, we had finally achieved financial balance. We were in the green for 1 second. So we had to continue our war machine, waging war on Sturgia. For some reason, Sturgia had a town all the way over here, so we captured that first. Then we moved across the map. In order to move quickly, I disbanded my army and reformed it all the way in their lands. So similar to what we did to Valandia, I just threw my men in the thousands at them, and everything went smoothly. The hardest part about this war was the times that I forgot about cohesion.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Again? Are you serious?
So I had to like re-click and reassemble everyone. After conquering all of their original land, I was surprised that they managed to get some of their empire cities. I feel like Sturgia was actually off to a good run for once. Sadly for them, I was the protagonist of this world. But for now, we were back in Profitville. And I made sure that this would last more than just a second. With this, we made peace with Sturgia because we also needed some time to recover our kingdom strength.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Was only around about 12k, Assyria was 10k, and that's too close for comfort. While my men recovered their numbers, I set out to create some governors for my cities. While doing this, I noticed Valandia had a strength of 4k, then I realized somehow they managed to capture Epic Rotea? Epic Rotea? Regardless, can't be having that. After capturing this city, Sturgia had the gall to wage war on us again, so this time I thought we should just destroy them for good.
Alright, there's the last Sturgian town.
After destroying Sturgia, for a while, everything was going smoothly, and for once, my kingdom was at peace. until our income went to red again, so it was my cue to go back to war. Picking Assyria because they had the audacity to match half our strength, I figured it was time to knock them down a peg. Or two. During our war with Assyria, the Northern Empire decided to declare war on us, so since we were nearby, I thought might as well destroy them too. And during this time, Britannia was also being a bit of a pest, so I actually tried to make peace with them, but then somehow this ended up destroying them. After that, we continued our war, spreading AIDS throughout the whole of the Northern Empire. Right after destroying them, Derther thought it was the perfect time to declare war on us.
I'm gonna eat your ass. I ain't gonna beat your ass, I'm gonna eat your ass. I'm an ass eater anyway, so I might as well just eat your ass.
He made me march all the way across the map, so it was time to teach him a lesson. I gathered the full force of my army, marching upon his last castle.
See ya.
And with one click of a button, Valandia was no more. While I was in this part of the map, I also decided to destroy a rebel faction that replaced Britannia. At this point, I thought to myself, might as well conquer the whole world. I waged war on the Western Empire for no other reason other than proximity. After destroying them, I saw my previous employer. So I proceeded to live through an r/pro revenge post.
My boss refused to pay me properly, so I made her go bankrupt and destroyed her kingdom.
I got rid of her and her kingdom. The Kuzite were the last empire yet to be hit by AIDS. So before I start the war, I would gather all my men and drop them off in the middle of their land, effectively injecting HIV straight through their bloodstream. This enabled us to spread quickly within their lands. Upon waging war, they would fall the fastest out of any kingdom before. They were down to their last castle. I called my banners one more time for one final siege. At this point, I pretty much auto-resolved the last 30 battles, so I thought maybe, just for the last fight, I'll join my men and we'll take this castle together. Nah, fuck that, I auto-resolved that bitch. And with that, I conquered all of Calradia. Midway, I kind of forgot about the whole isekai, protagonist premise, so, my bad. I kind of don't know how to end it, so...
What is 6 feet tall, dashing, and disappears in an instant?
HIV is not AIDS. I had to delete a lot of jokes because I didn't know that, but the more you know, I guess.